Hello everyone, welcome to another session with Singh. Today I'm going to discuss about how to create a URL shortening service with get and post methods using Ballerina programming language. So if you don't know me and new to this channel, my name is Singh. I'm a software engineer. I had my bachelor's degree in University of Columbus School of Computing. I do love volunteering. I have experience in as a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador and IEEE Extreme Ambassador. You have my social handles right here in this video. So, what is Ballerina? It's a programming language like Java and all, but it's very cloud native. It is actually designed for integrations in the ESBs. So it has a very rich network of protocols and data formats and connectors that enables these needs of the enterprises. So what is interesting about this Ballerina language is it has built-in sequence diagrams and flowcharts. This is created under the watchful eye of WSO2 in 2016. So without further ado, we can go to this beginner project, which is a URL shortening service. So first of all, we have to install Ballerina programming language. You can go to ballerina.io and download the source code package to your computer and install it. It's basically a straightforward process. It's just a software package that you can install using your application. Then what you are going to do is we are going to create another file that we are going to generate or write our code in Ballerina programming language that uses Ballerina compiler to run this application. So I'm going to name this as the URL shortening service. File extension for this is actually .bal. We have now we have the application. Nice. So here URL shortening service, what it does is basically generates a unique URL code for your lengthy URLs and it stores that relatively long URL in a database. Then whenever you click or whenever you request that data service, you can basically go to your system and write the application. Sorry, it basically goes to its application and checks whether that short code exists in the database and generates a special response object to your browser, which intakes or redirects the web browser application to that original URL. So that's what the URL shortening service does. So we are going to create that. So this will be basically, I will be mostly coding and I will be speaking where it is necessary in this future. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to create URL entry points that we need to store that data in. Okay, so this will be a type. I'm going to call it a URL entry, and this would be actually this would be a read only, and this is a record type. Okay, we have and it would be a record. Okay, nice. So this is a URL entry type. It's a read only and a record. So we are going to add this read only. It's a string. I'm going to say, let's say a string ID perhaps. Then we have a string URL. Okay, nice. Okay, so we have that little semicolon we need. Okay. So this is our URL entry in the database. URL entry type in the database. uh, then I'm going to create another type called URL create DTO. This is a data transfer object to create URL using the system. This is also read-only and record, which has a string URL. So I'm going to comment the comment here as again. This is a URL create DTO. Nice. Yeah. So then I'm going to create a table, in-memory table that would hold these values in memory. I'm not going to push this into a database, but this will hold the data in memory. Okay. So this is the table. URL into URLs. Okay. Before that, I have a key. Let's say let's get with key ID. Okay, we have key ID. Then I'm going to say this URLs. Perhaps then this would be a table. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this would be ID. But another small thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say this is dot Ballerina, and this would be WSO2.com. Nice. Okay. Cool. Okay, so now we have a table with this is a table that holds URL entries. Nice. So yeah, nice. So this is basically what we need to store our data. Then I'm going to create a HTTP listener that listens to your applications. Okay. Okay, I'm going to use this 1990 port. Nice. Okay. Small thing we need to do, we have to import the package. I'm going to import it here. Import Ballerina HTTP. We are going to import this HTTP package. Nice. So yeah, after that I'm going to create a service that accepts a GET request on this listener. Let's say on this HTTP listener. I'm going to copy this down. This HTTP listener. Okay. So another good thing about Ballerina, it's very easy to write GET and POST requests using the application and the programming language itself. WSO2 people have done a marvelous job creating this web programming language. It's very easy to integrate and design really specific ESB systems. So so how we do this is we have resource. I'm going to create another resource function that accepts a get parameter. But one thing I need to do is I have to accept the path query, saying I'm going to accept string URL. So we are going to accept a string URL, but it returns a HTTP response. It's going to return HTTP response, or it's going to return HTTP not found, because you might not found that URL entry in your application, right, in the database. So we are going to return either HTTP response or HTTP not found. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to add a little print line function here. I'm going to add a get URL plus URL. Nice. Okay. Okay, we have that thing. Then I'm going to add another variable called URL entry or URL. Then what this is going to do is this is going to check this URL exists in this database, and if it does, it saves that URL entry object in this variable. Okay. So then we are going to add the if statement calling whether this URL is empty. We are going to just return a new HTTP not found error, or I'm going to return HTTP OK URL entry for a moment. So we have a to do. Okay, nice. So I'm going to write a function. I'm going to implement this in later. I'm going to write a function called getResponse, which passes this URL entry to the application. Okay, nice. Okay, we have our application here. I'm going to import Ballerina IO here. Nice. Okay. Okay. So again, I'm going to write that application, which is a function that generates a response for you. This is that magic function that creates a very specific URL response that redirects your service to whatever the URL that you are requesting. Okay. So how we are going to do is we are going to create a function that called getResponse, and it accepts this URL entry and returns a HTTP response. Okay, so it creates another response, create a new response. Then it's going to make the status code, we say 302, stating that the redirect. Then we are going to set this payload into a not going to set the payload, set the header into a specific way that's saying this we are going to send the location to URL entry. Okay, that's we are going to do. Then we are going to return the response. So basically that's it. That's what we are going to do. Okay, so we have completed that get function. Nice. So okay, so this is our final application. So I'm going to run this using, I have installed this Ballerina extension. Actually it's a very useful application when we run Ballerina. See, they have already created all these very awesome like packages to use with Ballerina. Okay, so it has this architecture view thing and service designing thing with Swagger inbuilt. So this is actually a good this is how companies should develop applications, you know. So I'm going to run this using my application. Okay. Okay. Actually, before proceeding, I'm going to change these IDs into this string, because this is going to give us a very good understanding later. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to save the application and rerun again. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to go to my browser, and I'm going to write a code saying localhost. I am going to say localhost 990. I'm going to paste this string into this browser and click enter. Very nice. So we got redirected to WSO2.com. Okay, so this is what this URL shortening service does basically. Okay, cool. Okay, now that we have configured that get request with path queries, I'm going to generate a function that create random string with 6 letters. I'm actually using this system to these names to generate this code using Copilot. It's a very useful extension for developers as well. So we have our random string with 6 letters function. We have configured that already. Nice, cool. So next step we are going to do is we need another function that creates a URL services for us. Okay, so for that I'm going to, first of all I'm going to add the comments to this. I'm going to say this is a function that accepts a URL and create a new URL, not a new, create a new HTTP response that redirects to the URL. So this function, what it's going to do, this is a function that creates a 6-letter random string. Okay, so this is this service handles this slash URLs that would redirects to the original URL. Nice. So then I'm going to create another service that actually handles URLs to add new URLs to the table. Nice. So I'm going to create another service that actually handles another specific endpoint called slash API. Then this is listens on the HTTP listener we had. Listener. Okay. So basically, this is what it's going to do. It's going to accept slash API endpoint, which is a post method using, but we have URL create DTO to create these objects that returns a HTTP response saying this post URL. Then we are going to assign a random string to the system. Then we are going to do insertion to the database. Okay. Basically, this is what we are going to do. But before that, I'm going to. This is not a good. Actually, this is not a good way of writing this function. So first of all, I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to create a HTTP response, a new HTTP response. Okay. Then I'm going to validate this URL to check whether this URL is actually correct. So we are going to validate the URL. So okay, we are going to check this whether this URL is invalid, or if URL create DTO dot URL string, we are going to create a new URL entry with this random letters and the URL itself. Then we are going to add this URL to the system. Nice. If else, it's not a string or any other thing that we are going to send the HTTPS code calling the for o. Okay, nice. Okay, so we have set up that error thing. So another thing that I would validate is to check whether this URL is a correct URL, okay, before saving to the database. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I have this before creating a new URL entry, first I'm going to check whether this is correct thing. Then I'm going to validate whether the URL is already not already in the database is a correct URL. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a regex string for that. So I got this regex pattern from Stack Overflow answer. I have added the clarification for that here. Okay, so I'm going to forward paste this. So I'm going to get this regex package saying this to check whether this email is actually correct, the URL. Okay. Okay, so yeah, seems to be there's no issues with the system so far. Okay, so I'm going to check. So we'll see what's the problem with the application. Okay, so we have to close the service. Okay, yeah, we remove the applications. Okay, nice. Okay, nice. Post, add URL post. Okay, so I'm going to add another same add URL. I'm going to remove this square brackets and add curly braces and remove this. Okay, so we have create your thing. Okay, so seems to be there are no errors. So we first check whether this URL is a string. If it's a string, we are going to check this is correct URL format. So then we are going to check whether this application itself it's in the system. Okay. So for that I'm going to basically run a simple for loop. This is a beginner's project, so I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. So then we have a for each function that actually iterates to the URL entry table to check whether this URL exists in the URLs database. Okay, nice. So I'm adding this http:// because this is a HTTP call to the browser. Okay, so seems to be there's no issues. So I'm going to create a small string for the ID. We create a random string with 6 letters. Then we are going to do is we are going to modify this string URL a little bit, saying we are going to add the HTTP thing to the first point. Okay, so first of all I'm going to check this if the ID is not in URL, or check the IDs already exists. If so, we are going to generate another UID for this, and we are going to create a new URL entry to the system. Okay. So no, with a little thought, I'm not going to say this in URL, but I'm going to check whether this is empty string. Then I'm going to send the internal server error to the client. Okay, so I think that would be much easier to grasp this application. So then I'm going to create a URL entry object. Okay, we have a URL entry, we have ID, nice. Yeah, then basically we are going to add that to the system. Okay, for that I'm going to use add URL entry. Okay, we got that correctly. Okay, so then I'm going to set this to JSON. I'm going to send the newly created URL entry to system to JSON. Okay, so are there any problems? Yeah, we have to import math module here. For Ballerina math, we have imported that. Okay, can't resolve the module. Okay, so seems to be just no math module as per se, but so for that I'm going to do a little bit of I'm going to do a tinkering process here. I'm going to generate a UUID that creates a random UUID string, and I'm going to get the substring, the first 6 characters of the UUID. Then I'm going to import Ballerina UUID package. Okay, seems to be there's no if URL is string. Yeah, so here we have to check whether this URL is empty, because it's almost always going to generate a string, no? Because we have created the string as URL. So it's a URL itself a string, so it's going to unreach for that validation error. So yeah, basically now it should work. Okay, so what is the problem here? Okay, so we have to return object. Yeah, we haven't returned the response yet. We are going to return the response here and here. Okay, nice. So yeah, so we don't have any errors. So we'll run this application. For run, I'm just going to click this run button. Okay, so now I'm going to start my Postman application. Okay, so I have actually run the application, so we can give this a test go. Okay, so then I head back to my Postman application. Then I'm going to create a post request calling API at URL to the application, and I'm going to pass the URL as linkedin.com. Okay, so let's send request. So we got this ID. Nice. So then we have to go back to web browser to check this actually works or not. Okay, we'll go to okay, so let's go back to our web browser. I'm going to tell localhost 3000, I'm going to say 9090. Then I'm going to say that the string we got from the application called ABG7, voila, we got redirected to linkedin.com. So everyone, this is what this service is all about. I have come to the end of this application. I have uploaded the entire code base into GitHub repository, and I have attached the link down this video description. You can check out my Medium article as well. I have written a Medium article explaining each and every function that we use in this system. So go check out the Medium article and the GitHub repository as well. Okay, so I hope all you have learned how to create this URL shortening service with Ballerina. So once again, thank you again for listening to me and learning how to build this service with me. So yeah, again, thank you, and subscribe if you haven't done it so far.